Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the thanks button. Well, kind of weird today. Anyway, I'll let everybody pull in, but there you go, Steve. First in. Thanks for coming. And finally, we have something decent to talk about. All right. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the thanks button if I haven't said that already. See, algorithm is happy. Will everybody pull in? I don't know. We'll see. After it's an unusual night, Tuesday night. We usually do this Mondays 8 to 9 in case you're new to the show. And the show ends. If you miss any of the show, you can see it on replay on YouTube. No problem there. And we're going to see what everybody wants to talk about in a minute. So right now, it's just you and I, Steve. Well, no, somebody else came on. Usually more people watch on replay than watch live. So we'll see how many come. I guess I can talk about my Las Vegas trip while we wait. I did see the Eagles. Yeah, in the Sphere. There you go. See? Very cool experience if you're going out to Vegas. I got floor seats. Got lucky. I got like the last pair when I did it months ago. Cost a fortune, but the Sphere, mind-blowing, immersive experience. If you ever get a chance to go. I mean, it's just, man, some of these things you feel like you're on a roller coaster. You feel like you're moving. On that Hotel California was an awesome experience in the city. The Eagles are getting a little old, but the Sphere was really cool. All right, I've got some regular questions. Muteeb, did you feel better about 2012 RG or Jaden so far? I would say Jaden so far. I think, Robert was certainly a great talent whose career was cut short. Oh, I'm sorry. Cut short by injuries and being bullheaded with Shanahan, who was also bullheaded, and they kind of combined to blow all that. But that said, I mean, Robert was very good his first year. I mean, he was offensive rookie of the year. And, if Jaden keeps this up, so will he. I think Jaden is going to be their best quarterback since Joe Theismann, and his career ended almost 40 years ago. I've been watching this guy in off-season camps, summer training camp. Now we're seeing it in the games. I see him steadily improving. There's not a whole bunch about his game that I'd really sit there and go, let's do this and this. I would have him maybe take a little longer to look for receivers before he tucks and run. But you got to be who he is, too. So I think Jaden's going to be a great quarterback. This is the quarterback everyone has waited for since RG3 got hurt. Before RG3, you go back to the 70s, and I think he can be in the 80s. I think he can be, Theismann. When people say, well, Theismann was a great quarterback. He didn't get in the Hall of Fame, but he won 85 games, the most of any Redskin quarterback. He won a Super Bowl. He lost the Super Bowl, but that's 2 NFC titles. Nobody else had that. Of the other quarterbacks who won a Super Bowl, they didn't have a second NFC title. So Jaden's got it all. It's going to be fun to watch. And as you can see, he can lift a team, And if you want to know the difference between Jaden and other quarterbacks, let's go back to a few other first-rounders they've had. Hey, Bob, thanks for coming. All right, other first-round quarterbacks I'd taken. Heath Schuler, Jason Campbell, Dwayne Haskins, Patrick Ramsey. You think, well, let's throw RG3 aside on that. And Jason Campbell was a decent quarterback. The other ones like Heath Schuler, I mean, JD is like a miles ahead of where Heath Schuler came into the league. All these guys. Think of that difference. That's what you're looking at on there. So no one from Tampa. Well, okay. Yeah, it was a great Monday night. That was a fun game to watch. They played in front instead of back. They're now 2-1. I think they can win Arizona game. That would make them 3-1. I figured they'd start off 3-3. It's a little pessimistic after the Giants game, but this team has a chance to do something. But this defense sucks. Here we go again. Another defensive coach. And a defense, guys, and they got nothing. This interior defensive line is paid $1 billion for nothing. They can't get any pressure and hits on the quarterback. which leaves the secondary screwed. You let Joe Burrow stand there and just go, who should I go to throw to? He's going to kill you. And quite frankly, I think the Bengals, in a way, blew the game because they should have just said, we got Higgins, we got Chase. Let's just keep throwing them the ball until Washington stops us, because Washington never did. And you look how many times they did that and scored, but they didn't do it all the time. I would have just said, I'm going to keep doing this till you stop me. And they did. So I think Cincinnati, a lot of times coaches lose games because they overthink things. I think the Bengals did that. And Washington cashed in on all their opportunities. Anybody seen Chase Young? I'm sorry, Trust, I'm talking about. Way. Now he has held, he's held, what we say, 7 times 2 weeks ago in game 2, and then he held for kicks 6 times yesterday. So that's 13. So he has played, just never punted. I've never seen where they go 2 games without a punt. It's pretty rare just to get 1, 2. So, Trust's got to be loving life in a way. Do I have many people sign up for my tour Saturday? No, Bob, not yet. I do have a Lincoln Assassination Tour. If any of you are in DC, you can go to monumentalthoughts.com and sign up for my Lincoln Assassination Tour. I dropped the price $25. It's like a 90-minute walking tour. Kids 12 and under are free. And then we go eat pizza and talk Commanders afterwards. People say, I want to do this. Okay, here's your chance. We had a few people come to one a few weeks ago. I think they all had fun. And if you want to do it, go to Monumental Thoughts. I'll tell you how to get tickets. And this Saturday at 10 a.m., we're going to do Lincoln Assassination from the White House to Ford's Theater. So it's a good, fun tour. I am a relative of John Wilkes Booth, so I give you a lot of history there. It's fun. We've got plenty of tickets left. I know the fall is competitive, but if you want to do this, this is probably one of the last times I'll ever do this for general public and fans. And cut the price. I mean, this is normally a $250 tour. You can come for $25. Trying to do it for fans on my way out the door here, so to speak. I am a licensed tour guide, in case some of you haven't been with me before. Some of you have. So don't miss the chance. All right. Let's see. No one from Tampa. How many? Too many 10-yard chunk plays. Yeah. This team's defense can still not give up a short, can't cover a short pass. Can't cover a long pass. But, it's crazy. Can you be an all-pro holder? No one. That's a good question. I don't think you can, but it's a great question. Yeah, that may be what would change his position from punter to holder. But hey, Cincinnati missed that one field goal. That was a high snap, and and a little bit off. And I blame that missed field goal on the snapper for that one. And then a 5-point game, that changed a lot on there. As long as we're talking about stuff. If you'd like to get a copy of my book, 100 Things Commanders Fans Should Know and Do Before They Die. Again, you can go to Monumental Thoughts and get it there. You can do Venmo and PayPal, or we just let me put that in there now. I spent last week in Las Vegas, so my picks all stunk. I lost my shirt there. Boy, the books up there, they're amazing. The sports books. Las Vegas. I saw Raider Stadium from the outside. Ugly, really an ugly building, but inside I hear about. It's great. And let's see. So vacation, yeah, it was. Outside of, I had a car rental company that I had 3 cars break down in 5 days. Three from this company. Unbelievable. They offered me an upgrade. I'll give you an upgrade. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Sorry about this. But it's a free show, so you get what you pay for. Okay, so as I just put in the thought, let's do this one. There you go. This is the one on my presidential drinking book, all the favorite drinks of U.S. presidents. Any job needs a drink. It's got to be the U.S. presidents. It's kind of small, but it's a lot of fun. I talk about every single president on here. And then this is my long Redskin Commanders book. So we'll do Commanders books for 20. You get them both for 30. That covers shipping and handling and sign. And that will, and I sign it to you and mail them out tomorrow. So go to, there's my, in the notes, there's my PayPal and my Venmo if you want to buy one. And if you'd like to donate to the show in general, what the hell, if I'm being a whore, I might as well just talk about money for a minute. New media, you got to pay for new media, man. I keep the show free of commercials because I don't want to sit here and do that and tie stuff up. But it'd be nice if people chip in. You hit that $ below on YouTube. That's where you can send money to me. Or you can send it to me on PayPal or Venmo just to say thanks for coming by. Because it's been a long night. So it's up to you, but I appreciated any of it. That's the way to keep the show going. How long is the show going for? I don't know. I'm going to do this season and then we'll see, to be honest. I got a lot of decisions to make. But I think we're going to go out. This should be a fun season to cover. It's why I stayed back and kept going another year. Daniel. So I have an Eagle shirt because there I am in the Sphere. I was in the Sphere in Las Vegas last weekend. If you get a chance to go, it's mind-blowing technology. You feel immersed in not only the music, but all the video going on around you. And let me see if I have a picture. I can show you something. It's a great, great thing. Like everything you see there. Okay. That's all fake. It's not there. That's a blue ball. They just put all this stuff in. I mean, the hours they must spend doing this stuff. Hotel California was an amazing experience on there. You were like inside the story. So, this is the kind of thing with the video, with the reality headsets that we're getting now and all. You'll be watching NFL games and not too many more years from now where you put on a headset, you feel like you were sitting at the game in your living room. You feel like you're on the field. This is coming and it's coming soon. So this kind of thing with the Eagles and all is like that. It's next generation entertainment. And, think how cool it's going to be on the field almost, in reality and see everything like that. Mind blowing. I don't know what it's going to cost, but it's going to be mind blowing. Scott, I see Jaden doing a lot of TV commercials. Really? I hadn't seen any. Oh, you see him coming. Maybe. I would tell Jaden, as I told Chase, you're making a lot of money. Worry about your job. The side money is side money. Be in the league a few years, then spend your off season chasing some side money. But don't get caught up in this stuff. Gus Frerotte was a 7th round pick. Didn't make a whole lot first year. And he was doing signings at Kmart's on Saturday afternoons before home games for a few $100. And finally, Sonny went to him and said, "Hey, stop this nonsense. Concentrate on your job." And, Gus was the last man standing from his draft class in the NFL. It lasted like 15 years, mostly as a backup quarterback. But Sonny told him, don't be distracted by this other crap. Go do it. So, and so Gus did stop doing it and, had a nice career. How did the Eagles sound, Todd? Like a bunch of 70-year-old guys. The instruments were good. They played well. The voices quite weren't there, but that's okay. And with the show around them, and you're kind of distracted by all the video around you. It was fine. I knew every song but one. My wife, same thing. She's like, I don't know what that song was. I guess they had to play something from the last 20 years. I mean, they've been singing these songs for 50 years. I saw the Eagles in the 70s. Probably paid $8 for a ticket back then. So, but it was a worth experience. I think the greatest concert I ever went to was Phil Collins back in the 80s. Man, it was under the circus tent. So that was awesome. And Elton John's farewell tour years ago was an awesome experience. But this would be right there. Okay. So I was in the Raiders. I saw my friends in Las Vegas have lunch with an old boss. And he goes, the Eagles aren't in town. They're playing Carolina. I said, no. I do have interest outside of sports. This is the band, the Eagles. I think Carolina beat the Raiders there. Ooh. Like I said, I drove past the stadium. It's not far from the Strip. Matter of fact, the Oakland A's stadium they're going to build is just across the street, basically on the other side of the strip, right by the airport. You'll be able to walk the games from the strip whenever they do that. That's really amazing. Are all the seats in the Sphere good? Just Moody, I would say they always say that the middle seats are the best. The ones in the very top are probably a little high for it, but the floor seats where I was, and I got them because I couldn't get anything else. People have got in the middle. They took all the middle seats first. We're still very good. I could see everything. I was in the side, one like a corner of the floor, and I could see everything fine. Do I watch PTI? Joel, not very often. I mean, I've known Tony and Michael since the 80s. What you're seeing on TV is what we just would hear in the press box all the time. So I don't really watch the show much. I'm not watching TV at like 5 o'clock or whatever it is. Yeah, Patrick, they took it to the limit. They took all my money, and there you go. Guillermo, thank you so much for donating to the cause here of keeping Rick alive. And didn't make any money in Vegas. I lost $2. So I was up a little, and then you know how it goes. You press up more and you lose it all. But at least I walked away down $2. Amazed at all the every casino slot machine practically is like a video game. I have no idea if you're winning or losing. Where are the sevens and bars? That's how I understood slot machines. That was so weird. And then they had things like craps that were now in the machines, or roulette or in the machine, not tables. That was really wild to see. So, all right, Mojo, thank God we have the proper organization structure for JD. True. I mean, they've gone around, they've got him a lot of things already. I have a video up I just posted that said the unsung heroes of this team are the offensive line. Look how much better they're playing than expected. They're not perfect. The inside running game needs some work, but the offensive line's done great. And all my grades, which I put here on YouTube and also on Twitter, Rick Snider's watched them. I gave him an A. I mean, they did a great job. The last 2 games, they've done a great job of protecting Daniels. And it's given him a little more time to look for passes, and it's let him run a few times too. I think he ran 12 times in this game, and yet no one seemed to mind that as much. He got nailed once. But I thought I think the offensive line's done a great job. The defensive line has been horrible. They've really underperformed. Where's Jamie Davis? They're not even using him. They're using him behind Batiste. Batiste's like a 7th round pick, if I remember. They're not even playing Jamin over him. Well, just cut the guy already if that's what you're going to do. Daniel, I can't believe the USC was able to do an event there. Yeah. I think I heard about that. Watch Van Halen in their prime, says Marco in 78. Missed out on Leonard Skinner. Yeah, I missed out on them too. That was a bummer. What a great band. What a great band Leonard Skinner has been. Yeah, George, I felt good. $2. I tipped more to the valets than $2. Took $100 in fives, and I ended up giving them all away in tips. You got to tip people, and like here, but service industry people, especially, man, they need 5. Don't be selfish. Pass the money around a little bit. That's what I've learned. I've learned that as a tour guide more than anything. I wasn't a big tipper before I became a tour guide too, but I see the value in it and how it helps people. So please hit that $sign thing or buy a book or go on the tour or do something, instead of just watching Rick for free. MP wants to know if everybody's fans here. I would guess all of you are fans. I mean, I don't know too many of you, but personally, but why else would you be here? It's a Commanders channel. Don't like Cowboys. I grew up in Washington. People say, "Are you a fan?" Well, I grew up in Washington, so who else would I root for? I root for Washington teams. I root for locals. They're our guys. That's why I like to see Washington teams win. They don't always win, but we had a good stretch there for a while at times. So, Dallas people, they can go to their channel if they want. Marco, O-line playing great. D-line bad. Yeah, I'm a little surprised D-line's not playing better, but the 2 tackles have just not earned their money. And the outside, this team was kind of Band-Aid in that situation, and it got burned. So with no pass rush, there ain't a lot of pass defense. You're leaving a very thin secondary out there to dry. And that's going to get worse as the season goes on if the pass rush can't go. I have to say Bobby Wagner has not impressed me greatly. And I'm surprised by that. He's getting the tackles, but I think he's slowed down, and I don't really see it, you know. Lou, what does the defense have to do to generate more pass rush? That's a great idea. I mean, it's not for lack of effort. I don't see anybody, BSing around like we saw Chase do at times. They're giving it their effort, but they got to figure out some new schemes, how to do some blitzes more. You got to hope that the outside rush can work more, but you're taking gambles. I think Kingsbury's done a good job, calling plays. Witt, I have not seen the same kind of thing, but it's kind of early for me to judge that part of it. But I haven't quite seen it yet. I mean, Witt's whole thing was about pick up a sword and kill the guy in front of you. Well, if they're not doing that, the scheme's not the question there. Mr. Keating, that fourth down conversion at the end of the game was something special. If that's one of the 20-something, it was a great play. I thought McCaffrey showed up. I've been waiting for McCaffrey to play well all summer and to now. I mean, I thought he had a good training camp. I thought he looked good throughout off season. And I was a little surprised at a slow start first couple of games, but he showed up this time. And Terry did too. Terry got opportunities. It wasn't that Terry was goofing around. Terry needed the opportunities to do well, and they did it. And JD threw some great passes. Mojo, do you think it will hurt us if you somehow win the division year one? I mean, Ron Rivera kind of always said, gee, this first year doesn't, we got lucky. We'll have to build. And they never did. So take the wins when you get them. If you win a division at 9-8, I don't think that'll happen, but if you did, great. Get in the playoffs any way you can get in the playoffs, because Ron never built it any better. Philly's going to be the one. Dallas and New York aren't that great. Washington can finish second. They could maybe get a wild card. This game in Arizona is a big deal in a way. You can steal this one. I was telling somebody the last 5 times the team has made the playoffs, they had to have a great run at the end of the season to get in there, and then they lost the first round mostly. And you never really got to enjoy a great team. If this team could get a few games up and then kind of battle their way back and forth, at least you get the feeling it's a good season while you're going through it. Can't underestimate how little that has happened, since the 80s and 91. So it would be nice to see them get on top. I will say the team's playing in Arizona this weekend. They're out there all week. They decided to go ahead, fly from Cincinnati Monday night to Arizona today, and the players have a day off. And then they'll be practicing at Arizona State, where they used to play the games for the new stadium. And so they're going to be out there all week. It's going to be like 100 degrees. But I was just in Vegas for a week. I got lucky. It was only about 90 every day. And with the less humidity, it's like 80 here. So I've had hotter days in the 70s here than it feels like there, and 90. But I think that's going to help them, because if you have to fly back and then you have to fly back to Arizona on a Friday, you really cut in your preparation huge. So this should help them a lot. Todd, do you like the Marshall Tucker Band? I haven't seen them since the 70s. I only remember there were one song, heard it in a love song, 10 Feet Tall or whatever it was. MPG, hate the new name for Washington. Well, you and everybody else. Do you think the president named his dog who bit people 18 times after them? Was that Commander or was that a different dog? You're probably right about that. Yeah, I remember I laughed at when they said Commanders. I said, you named it after the president's dog? And everybody's like, what? And nobody knew this new dog was named Commander. Yeah, and he's not around anymore. I don't know where he went. He went to the farm, whatever that means. If only we had an average defense. Yep, I agree with you there, Tech. But the offense has hogged the ball so much. It's really great. Let me see. What was the time of possession yesterday? I'm looking at this box. Team stats. Time of possession. So, what the heck is that? That's stupid ESPN. Don't you hate ESPN? Every time you go in there, they suddenly got that. All right. 33 minutes and 6 seconds for Washington, 26-54 for Cincinnati. So one time of possession wasn't as lopsided as it was the Giants. They had the ball like 15 minutes more against the Giants. That was crazy. Paul McCartney at RFK 1990. I didn't see that. I'm not a huge McCartney Beatles guy. May Rich Taylor rest in peace. Rich Taylor loved the Beatles. I grew up with the Beatles too. I mean, I was a few years younger than Rich, but not much. I never was a big Beatles guy. He loves you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whatever. I can appreciate them a little as I'm older, but I wasn't a big one. So I don't think I ever seen McCartney. Then he went to Wings, and that was a weird band. Mike, first time since 1940, both teams didn't punt and both had no turnovers. Yes, the game went along pretty quickly overall. That was nice. Especially late, and I'd flown in from Vegas earlier. I was all for a quick game, so I appreciate that. I think it was done about 11 o'clock, so about 15 minutes faster than normal. Marco, at LSU, Daniels had to score on every drive in front of 100,000 fans, and I agree that really did help prepare him here. Um, he's played in the big time college atmospheres. It's not much different than big time pro atmospheres. I mean, there's a lot of people there and a lot of pressure on you. So um, he's used to that. He played more at college ball than I think I've ever seen a college quarterback in recent years play. So he came in well ready to do this. Seems like a cool guy that doesn't get rattled about things. Just talk to him. He's pretty chill. Kind of reminds me of Champ Bailey, like that. Champ was cool. I liked Champ a lot, and he was a very chill guy. So I think Jaden's going to be a bit like that too. I don't think a lot will get to him on there. Got to just stay away from some of them linebackers. And those guys hit hard. God knows you don't want to be near the linemen. Those guys are huge. I tell you, I know. I'll just say this: if you ever have to stand next to like offensive, defensive linemen, I mean, literally stand next to them. Some maybe greedy meet and greet you get to go to, you will notice how much these big human beings are. More so than from the stands and definitely from TV. You can't gauge it. But when you stand next to them and you think, how in the world would I block this guy? He's like almost, I'm 5'10. I'm not a small guy, but they're all 6 to 12 inches taller than me. And they're humongous. And you're thinking, this is nuts. And I used to be a much bigger guy. I used to be over 300 pounds. And coaches would always joke with me about, hey, I might need you on the line this week. And I'd say, well, coach, I can give you 2 plays. The first one will stagger me. The second one will kill me. So third down, you're going to need somebody else to come out here. But these guys are humongous human beings. It's like basketball players too, in a way, because you look at them all, it's relative because they're all relatively tall. If you get a 5'10" guy on the court and you think, who's this shrimp? And if we go stand next to him, you realize he's not short at all. Kind of weird. That's how it is with football players. No one. Washington had 2 3-game wins streaks in 2022. Yeah, I remember that. Haven't won 4 since 21. I remember that. It was kind of a weird thing. And then they lost a bunch too in a row. Then they win. I think they won 4, lost 4, won 4, something like that. Well, they won 7 games. They couldn't have done it quite that way. Tech, do you think Chicago wants to redo on the draft? Yeah, I think they kind of screwed that up. And I tell you who else is really regretting the Giants. The Giants really wanted Jaden. Why didn't they go to Chicago? Maybe they did and say, what king's ransom can we pay to get the first pick so we get Jaden? Because everyone knew Washington was going to go probably Jaden at that point. So the Giants could have had him too if they paid that ransom. Maybe they had gone to Washington and said, hey, we're going to sell this pick to the Giants unless you come up with more. Yeah, I don't know. But they definitely made the right pick. I couldn't tell in the college film when I was watching, but as soon as I saw him on the pro fields, I could go, oh, okay, this is it. He's the real dude. So, yeah, Chicago, you screwed it up. And, I don't think Caleb's going to be a great quarterback in this league. It's just my gut feeling. I've been around football mostly 50 years now. I may not be a pro scout. Maybe I don't know how to GM, but I know what a football player looks like. Been around them for 50 years somehow. So, I think these guys overthink things too much and hurt themselves. Jaden went to Arizona State where they're practicing this week. That's right, Mike. So he can tell everybody where to go eat. I've been to Arizona State. I got to tell you, beautiful place. And the people are fun. It's a lively scene because it's a college town. Years ago, I used to take that. You fly there and then you take the red eye home. I'd stop in Vegas, play cards or whatever for an hour and slots or whatever and get on another plane home. But Arizona State's a great place to go if for road trips. Not sure I'd want to go this time of year. You want an Arizona game more like November, December, like Tampa. You don't want them early in the year. You want them later in the year. Now it's a dome stadium, so that doesn't factor. But if you want to enjoy the weekend somewhere, that's a great one. Over under. How many times Trustway punts this week? You got 3. So 70 chip. Okay. I'll say your over under should be 2.5, and I'd say 3 also. So I'm kind of with you on the 3. Yeah. It's my old Redskins partner texting me. Something. Who knows what he wants. I saw my old boss in Vegas. He moved there years ago. He's old. So we're all old. Frederick, the big difference so far this season, the team is actually being coached. Agree. Looks like they're executing much better. Well, I mean, the first couple games, I was a little more wondering what this coaching staff was doing. I thought they did not have them ready for week 1. They got beat, but they had them ready for week 3. So that's positive. I like Quinn. Quinn's the boss you would always want to have, because when we asked him once about what did you get on players about these penalties, he says, yeah, but you don't have to be a jerk about it. Well, I used to work for a lot of jerks. Newspapers are not the kindest places in newsrooms. Yeah, you're free to speak your mind, both sides. Today, I'd be down at HR writing apology letters. So I think Quinn they did a better job for week 3. Let's see how it keeps going. League commander, ran into John Jansen at Frostburg while I was there. One of the biggest dudes you ever saw. Yeah, Jansen was huge. I mean, let me just say this. They're bigger now than Jansen. Like Dexter Manley, I used to think was one of the biggest human beings, or butts. You look at their numbers, they're not as big as today's players. Or Jacoby. Jacoby's a big guy, too. Dexter and Jacoby are still big guys. They weren't heavy. I'm telling you, you're sitting there. If you're on a battlefield and you got to fight this guy, you better learn to retreat. Marco, Daniels and Burrow both enjoyed playing chess in their off time. Oh, all right. Well, I used to play chess a lot. Maybe we should. I should take them on. Maybe I can beat them. Just Moody, thank you for chipping in. Were any of the Pawn Stars in the shop when I went there? I did go to Pawn Stars. I always heard it was a small place in a bad neighborhood. No, the neighborhood's fine. It's not, Caesar's Palace, but it's fine. The gift shop, the store was bigger than I thought, but didn't have a lot of stuff in it, really. So and they cater to a lot of tourists now, too. I bought a T-shirt, and I bought something else. Let's see. Right. So when I was in Pawn Stars, I got me an old man bobblehead. Hey, old man, what do you think? Yeah, he likes the show. So my other bobblehead is John Wilkes-Booth, who I'm a distant cousin of. So if you come on the assassination tour this weekend, you can hear my stories about John Wilkes-Booth. But those guys weren't there. They're not. What I understand, they're not really there much anymore because they got rich off TV. Last time I was in Vegas was 15 years ago, and the show was just starting. And I didn't. I always wanted to go see it. It was worth stopping by. I wasn't disappointed. And if I had gotten to meet any of those guys, that would have been cool. See, matter of fact, I took a ton of photos. I still got to figure out what I'm doing with. But here's one. So there I am with Rick. No, I'm kidding. That's a cardboard cutout of Rick. But if it's life size, he's maybe an inch taller than me on there. All right, let's see. Mike, did you see where Jaden was telling the coaches to get plays in quicker? I know he was yelling at the sideline about things. I wondered what that was about. So good for him. Let's see. Ross, how are DTs playing? Not well. Would I trade one by the trade deadline if you can get anything for them? I mean, problem is they both have big contracts. Allen's probably more tradable than Duran for that. What are you going to get? Third, maybe? I mean, what you need is a good team to have their defensive tackle knocked out for the season, and they got a big problem. That's when you can maybe trade somebody for some value. So we'll see. I mean, they don't make a lot of trades normally. Last couple of years have been more at the trade deadline than past. Yeah, it's not like the NBA where half your roster flips. So I just don't think that they're. I don't know why they're penetrating enough, but they're not stopping things. They're getting gashed on the run. That could be scheme as much as anything, to tell you the truth. Trading for a corner, yeah, but then the problem with the corner too at midseason is trying to learn fit in your system, and that's not easy either. So it's hard to just plug and play, these kind of things. 8:35. Okay, so I'll just while I'm rolling through. Most people listen for 15 minutes, so that's why I repeat things at times. If you want to go on tour, you can always go privately if you're coming into town for Saturday, coming in for a game. But and you go to monumentalthoughts.com. That's where I have my tour website, and you can. But if you'd like to get tickets for this Saturday's Lincoln Assassination Tour, where we walk from the White House to Ford's Theater, it's about a 90-minute tour, $25. Kids are free. Then we go eat pizza. You pay for that at Gordon Ramsay's new place in DC. I got plenty of tickets. If you want to come, go to monumentalthoughts.com. You can see that. Or if you'd like one of my books, I guess all of you have learned how to read already. Presidential Pours. Yeah, I do it on the screen backwards. Presidential Pours is about all the presidents and their favorite drinks, or there's a few that were sober. Commanders is 100 short stories that you'll love. They're all about 3-4 pages, so they're not long. And that way you can read all about the team's favorite heroes and funny stuff that happened, that kind of stuff. $20 signed, sealed, and delivered for Commanders. Another 10 get you both. $30. We'll go. I see 30 earlier or 25, whatever I said. You can get them both. I'll put it both in the mail tomorrow. And if you would just like to donate money to me generally, that's fine too. But let me say, here's my PayPal and Venmo stuff if you want to just buy a book or tip directly in that way. YouTube doesn't take a piece of it. That's always nice too. And if you can't do any of these things because you're just a tightwad, hit the thumbs up button. At least the algorithm will say, "Oh, people like Rick." So if nothing else, hit that button. And if you're watching on another social media, well, whatever. So, matter of fact, the 4th anniversary of the show is coming up in a few weeks, and the show has been seen by about 20 million people. So, wasn't spotted in Vegas by anybody, but usually all around Washington, people know who I am. Just Moody, no turnovers. Yeah, gotta love it. They've not been doing turnovers. Not too many penalties lately. They had one bad game with that, but they're seeming to starting to feel each other a little better. So they play out in Arizona this week, then they come home. So 3 out of 4 first games were on the road. You got a Monday night on the road and then a game out west 6 days later. Boy, the NFL didn't exactly give them a break there. But these things work themselves out over the season. So not a big deal. All right, got about 20 minutes left of the show, and Rick's going, because still game days and next days are a lot of work. You can look on 106.7 The Fan, Audacy.com, AUDACY, where I talk about how Jaden is going to be their best quarterback since Joe Theismann. And if you think I'm crazy for saying it this early, that's fine. 2-3 years from now, you'll go, Rick was right. I don't know where I'll be, but I was right. All right, what other questions you got? We talk about anything you want. Why is it so hard for cornerbacks to turn their head around? Well, Tech, they're running they're running as fast as they can. They're trying to watch the receiver because if they do get beat, they got to be able to see him and tackle him right away. So not easy. Playing corner is hard. And I think, it's one of those things with Forbes. You think, God, Forbes has played poorly how much worse could it be without him? You're kind of seeing that now, but it does get worse. I think Samerstill has been really getting picked on a lot. No one's talked about that much, but he's had some really tough times out there. More so, coaches always raved about him. I didn't quite see it in the preseason, but yeah, he's had a tough time too. St. Juice, I think, has played a little better this season so far. Not perfect, never going to be perfect, but he's played a little better on there. Hickory Hound. Ooh, my boys from Hickory, North Carolina, or as my dad would say, North Carolina. Hickory. Giants aren't as bad as we thought they were. I wouldn't say that. Every dog has their day in the NFL. Carolina won, Giants won. That's why I did poorly in my picks and I lost my shirt. And you know what that means for Saturday's picks coming up. My OnlyFans tribute. You'll have to come Saturday to see what I'm talking about. All right, Scotty. Did you ever converse with John Madden and Pat Summerall? One time, Super Bowl, we had a kind of like an informal presser talking about what they were going to do that week. And so I sat in on that and said hello to them. But that was really about it. Met Howard Cosell one time in an elevator at RFK. He was every bit the arrogant person that you figured he would be. Jimmy the Greek, I love Jimmy the Greek, even though he spelled Snider wrong. But the Greek was at the Derby one time. And on Friday, the day before the Derby, he says, I'm giving out this horse. He's 100-1 and I'm betting him. So I thought, all right, Greek knows something about horses because back then, every sports guy was a horse guy first. And that horse won. I bet $2 on him. So he's fine for me. I wish I'd bet more on that day. The Greek had that one. They used to say Jimmy the Greek would call like 20 radio stations on Derby Day and give a horse out to each one. And that way he could always say somewhere, I picked the winner. I don't know if that's true or not. Cards are 3-point favorites. Okay, I didn't know that, KS. I didn't have a chance to look yet. I'd say take the points this week. What's the over-under? I would take the over also because I don't think Vegas is quite caught up with Washington's offense. And so I would take the over until they lose. I was in a few sports books in Vegas. I was in 3 of them. Man, one of them was humongous. I mean, they had like at least 30 TVs of different sizes. See if I have that photo up. And, there were hundreds of people there. And this wasn't even a big day for sports. They were watching some college football, but nothing special on that. But man, it was just amazing how big some of those were. Yeah, here it is. I'll show you one picture I took inside the book. And I mean, look how wide this is, man. This is all the screens and everything that you see, the odds, people. So there you go. You can see all these different games, baseball. It's had some horse racing, all that. It's pretty cool. These guys, they know what they're doing. So they say a winning sports bettor in Vegas hits 55%. Think about that. 55% would you think normally would suck. And that's how the best guys are doing. So those of you trying to pick your own games, I'm not a big fan of sports betting because I know the house always wins. Antoinette, there you go. Antoinette, are you feeling better? She fell and broke her arm recently. So I hope you're feeling better. Would Davis and Forrest get traded before the deadline? Don't think so. I don't think anybody will make a move for him. KS, 49.5. Ooh, okay. So 49.5 points for the over-under for Washington, Arizona. I will still go over. I think it was 47.5 yesterday. So they're inching up a little bit. Hickory, defense playing the old Seattle system. Well, the Legend of Boom was a lot better than this. This is the Legion of Bust, to say the least. Maybe they'll get better. Marco, remember Howard Cosell? Yeah, Monday Night Football. To let everybody know John Lennon had just been died. Yeah, I remember that. I remember when Lennon died, crazy guy shot him. And I think that wasn't long from Reagan getting shot. I mean, it was kind of one of those periods of time where you're like, wow, what's going on? And Just Moody, remember the call, the pass to Charlie Brown, yeah, where Howard said something stupid. I mean, I do this show live, and I do a lot of stuff like this. I do a lot of radio, TV at times. Being on live, you're going to say something stupid eventually. You just are. Not intentionally, you're just going to do it. That's why it always kind of scared me a little bit doing my early years going on the junkies, because there was four of them, and they would rapid fire questions at me, and you just hung up and always thought, God, I hope I didn't say anything stupid. Well, I haven't been fired for that for any reason, but you're looking at somebody that has now been laid off 8 times in his last 11 years. It's getting thin to stay in the biz, and I'm getting too old for it. So we'll see. We'll talk about that down the road. Just Moody. I remember. Let's see. Okay, Dad. No one from Tampa. Alvin Garrett. That's right. It was Alvin. He called him little something. I don't even want to get into that. I don't want to get into any of that and say something dumb. Like I said, when you work without when you're working live, anything can happen. I usually don't curse on anybody's radio, TV shows. There's a rule just so that I don't want to slip and say something real bad. Today's sports talk radio, they say curse words all the time. Not the few that are forbidden, but I just learned don't say any, so I won't say something bad. Internet. Oh, good. Internet's feeling better. Cast comes off Friday. Good for you. Glad to hear it. So I broke something once, but I know it's no fun. And we got 15 minutes to go on all this. 1%, I guess, isn't on TV anymore. I was looking to see what I was going to watch tonight. One great thing about being away for a week, not watching TV, is some stuff on my DVR to watch. So finally, there's nothing on TV. Nothing on TV. What are these people doing? Got to find something to watch. Nobody else got questions yet? Okay, hit the thumbs up button if nothing else. If you're new to the show, hit the thumbs up button. That at least helps Rick with the YouTube people and the algorithm. YouTube is owned by Google, so they have the same kind of rules about how to send people your way based on how much interaction you get. It's a long nerd story. I don't normally, for somebody who hates analytics when it comes to sports, and I do hate analytics, I use them a lot in business. So help grow the channel, things like that. So whatever. Marco, I like recording games, so I don't have to watch commercials. Yeah, but then you're behind the score. So I will once in a while, I'll tape the show because I can watch a game in like 30, 45 minutes if I have to speed through everything to a point. And sometimes I do it just so I can go back and look at things. I spent enough time watching football. Antoinette, I like Las Vegas. Yeah. I've been to Vegas a few times, so this is the first time in 15 years. And it seems the technology, it's my first trip in 5 years. I hadn't flown on a plane. I used to fly 75 times a year, but, cut way back. And so it's the first time in 5 years with the pandemic and all that. Amazing the technology, just, using your cell phone for everything now. Even I had to ask people help a few times about how do we do this? Because it's my first time. But everything is on my cell phone. So I thought that was really amazing. Stayed at the JW Marriott. So if you want to go to Las Vegas and you don't want to be on the strip, because it's loud and noisy on the strip. If you're not coming to basically get drunk and screwed and go to the pool or whatever, there's a lot of great hotels just off the strip. And JW Marriott has one about 10, 15 minutes from the strip, which is nothing. And it's an awesome hotel. It's sort of like something like Hotel California as it's built. That's a great place. I also went to Jack in the Box for the first time ever. I know some of you out west will laugh at that, but we don't have Jack in the Boxes here in the East. And I'd always heard, oh, Jack in the Box. I kind of thought it was going to be like a lot of Mexican food or something, Spanish. And they had tacos, which I didn't think were particularly any good, but it was really more like a Wendy's here in the East, with burgers and all. There's nothing wrong with it. It was just different than I expected. But now I checked that off my list. I've done In-N-Out Burger, overrated, in my opinion. Whataburger I had in Texas, overrated. Jack in the Box doesn't deserve the cult following that people give it. I mean, here in the East, you don't hear people say, oh, God, Wendy's. I so want to go to Wendy's. You don't hear that about McDonald's or Wendy's or any of these things. Maybe Roy Rogers. But, it's funny how people out west act like these fast food chains invented food, and they're really nothing special on that kind of thing. So, did go to I hadn't been to one in a long time. Uh, the Forrest Gump, restaurants, Bubba Gump Shrimp, I think it's called. Um, that was good. I enjoyed that. I haven't been to one in years. We got Jack in the Boxes in Hickory. Hey, that must be interesting. Do you think that they're overrated by chance? Maybe I'm just the old guy. I don't like somebody else's food. I'm trying to eat cleaner now. Anyway, I took a little bit of. I don't think I had I had a salad in Vegas one night. Okay, so I had a vegetable in Vegas one time in 5 days, but didn't eat much of anything. Just kind of ripped and ran. Matter of fact, I was laughing. I posted my wife's and I Fitbit numbers, and I said we don't sit by the pool, we go see things, and went to a bunch of parks, those kind of stuff. Where is my? Oh, here it is. So those are my numbers on Fitbit for being in Vegas every day. Yeah. Matter of fact, the Tuesday one, I flew out there and I still did 10,000 steps. 16,900. Yeah, it was Saturday where we were out. As I laughed, being 3 hours behind, I told my friends in the East, it's 2 a.m. and you're asleep and I'm out partying in Vegas. So who you calling old? Let's see. Yeah, Mark Mosley did help really expand the Five Guys. I did a story on it once and talked to the owner of Five Guys. The owner was a guy with 4 sons, so there's 5 guys. And Mosley said, we can franchise this and do it. And he said, "Oh, well, okay, go ahead and try if you want, but I don't have any expectations." And thanks, Bob, for coming. And Mosley blew that thing up into a huge chain. They even have him overseas. He owns a bunch of them. It's good for him. Antoinette, favorite burger place? Probably be Five Guys, but I don't eat there very much. And I saw a story the other day that said they were the worst healthy thing, but Mosley told me they're the opposite, that they found they had the healthier beef than anybody else. We had a lot of fries. Now, fries are fries. Matter of fact, I had a young friend years ago, Five Guys opens. We're eating, and he was about 20 years old in the military. And he says, "Hey, I think the cashier really likes me. I'm going to go ask her out for a date." And I said, "Really? What makes you think that?" He goes, "Look at all these extra fries she gave me in the bag." I didn't have the heart to tell a kid that, you know, they do that for everybody. And he didn't get a date with her. So that's how it works sometimes. Hickory hadn't had fast food this year. Uh, okay, you're a sous chef. All right. I cook too at times. Matter of fact, do I have this around somewhere? I am going to be reissuing a cookbook of mine, but I don't think I have it. I don't have it right here with me. But next year, I have rights returned to me from a cookbook I did in 2000. Authors usually regain the rights to books after so many years. And so I'm going to update the book, and it's called Secrets of Caveman Cooking. You can see one on Amazon. I don't have any more. I just have a couple of my own. But I'm going to reissue the book next spring. So I worked in a restaurant for 3 years cooking, have a chef certificate. I know something about it. Fire, I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. Let's see. Scotty Egg kind of agrees. Best burger place. Fuddruckers, yeah, I'm coming with you. Fuddruckers was okay. I like the fries, but I wouldn't put them over that. King, Joe Witt's not the answer. Well, we're going to find out. That's for sure. No one from Tampa. Back in the day, there was a Jack in the Box there. Okay. Yeah, it used to be in the East. I remember as a kid, we used to have them around 1970, and they disappeared. We never saw them again. Hickory, thanks for the book. We'll see if I'll pitch it. Yeah, we'll do the show in the off season some, but I'm going to change the show around a little bit after this season as I'm changing my life around. So we'll be doing more cooking, more touristy things, and less commanders. I'm going to turn 65, and I have a right to have a life at the end of things, and so we'll get to it. That's why I'm enjoying this season. As part of everything. Not breaking news here yet. Okay, we got 5 minutes to go. Ask your question, or if you want to donate and say, "Hey, Rick, this was a great show. I appreciate it. Here's $5." Hit that $ sign thing on the bottom. It's a thanks button. or buy a book as I showed you earlier, or hit the thumbs up button if nothing else. So, God, I hate being a whore like this. Been a serious news guy all my life till here at the end, and now I've lightened up a little bit and beg for money. So, so I can go back to Vegas and try and hit it again. I used a lot of miles. If you think, well, Rick, you go to Vegas, how poor can you be? I had like 5 years of miles from credit card miles and all. I paid for practically everything. Paid for the flights, the rental car, the hotels. I didn't have to pay cash for any of that. It's great. Cut into my miles. But I got a ton of miles. That's one of the great things. Get that Capital One card you see on TV all the time about what's in your wallet. You get miles for purchases, and you can go travel with them and all. It's a great deal. I mean, there's other good credit cards too, but that's a great deal. It adds up. I mean, we're thinking about going to Hawaii next spring. I've still got enough miles to fly first class to that and not pay for it. So trying to do things before I get too old and can't do things. And that day, you never know when that day is coming. Got to tell you, when you get older, that day comes one day as a surprise, and you're screwed. I don't know, BLT, honest. So, do you think they move for a wide receiver one this season? No, and I don't think so. I think next year's. Well, we'll see how the line does this year, but I could see them going with a first round pick for the line next year. Scotty A, thank you so much. I do appreciate that. That'll help get me back in the black, because I bet on red and it didn't work. I only lost a couple bucks in the end. I got up some, and then you know how it is. You get up some, it's like house money, and they get it back and a little bit more. They built those castles in the desert, one quarter at a time, kind of thing. And it's true. The house always wins. That's why I'm not a big sports betting guy. I've been around betting all my life. I used to be a horse racing writer, and I saw it. The house always wins. The house always wins in the end. You might be the one guy. Like, I've made more money in horse racing than I've lost. I'm a rarity. I don't bet it casually. You pick your spots. And I know a lot of you are into sports betting. Oh, it's $1, it's $2. Adds up. It really does. I don't give my money away. Antoinette, does Allen and Payne like playing for Witt? Well, I haven't heard him complain, but better not hear him complain. I think they're okay on that. Mike, thank you so much. Did I ever talk to Bobby Beathard? A little bit. I was a young reporter once, had hair and everything, and talked to Beathard. The thing about Beathard I always laughed about was he was the first guy I ever met who didn't wear socks with his shoes. And, that's a Californian thing. This is 1980 something, and it had not come east. And I always thought, how weird, this dude doesn't wear socks. I know it's a weird thing to remember about somebody, but, he talked to the media some, but not a lot, So it wasn't like we hung out at the bar every day. Honest Brute, lawnmower fun. Thank you, because I ran out of gas. I have 3.5 acres. I ran out of gas yesterday because I didn't pay attention, and started cutting grass because grass was high after being away 10 days, and it rained, and I get as far away as I could, and it ran out of gas, and I had to walk back, which is like 5 minutes, and then walk back with the can. And I thought, you dumb me. You get what you deserve for not paying attention to was it gassed up first. Oh, well. My grandson wants to start cutting grass more. He'll be 10 soon. So I'm like, yeah. He said, I'll cut the whole yard. It's going to be $20, and you're going to pay me. Well, okay. If you're going to make me pay you 20, that's fine. He'll be an hour into the first time and realize he's been screwed. Hey, kid, welcome to life. You get what you negotiate. But yeah, now I got to buy gas again. Gas in Vegas, it was really weird. Gas in Vegas, I saw at $2.99, and I saw it at $4.09 in the same city. So wow, but I think consistently it was about 30 cents higher than DC. Gas here is about $3.19, and I'd say in Vegas it was about 3.5. Consistently, it was just weird how I'd see different, buck difference. That's a lot on there. So even got a flat tire or a rental car. I had 3 rental cars and I had problems with all 3. Turned in 2. The third one I had a flat tire. I actually had it close to right by a 7-Eleven. You know, the spray can things they always talk about, put it in with the foam and all that for a temporary. It worked. It did great. And I managed to get it back to the rental car airport to turn it in. And so those things really do work. So who knew? I just took a breath and said, well, I got nothing to lose. Let's see if it works. Antoinette, will raking leaves be a big problem? And Antoinette, she knows that I often complained before I moved to this house. I would do 100 bags of leaves a year at my old property, 100 bags of that and gumballs. And this land, no, I've got a lot of trees, but they're scattered throughout the property and they're not big, big mature ones that dump a load. So no, I don't have to do a lot of that, but I still do a lot of yard work. It works out one way or another. Anyway, it's good for you. Who you got on Thursday night? Okay, so who's playing? I kind of took a week off to unplug from a lot of things. Who's playing Thursday night? And I'll tell you who I like. Gas is $2.72 in Conover. Wow. It makes you wonder what gas. I have a cousin who owns a gas station, and he also lives on a big house next to a golf course. Now he has a great place, and he's got fixes your car, tows your car. That's a sandwich shop. He did the whole thing and turned it into a real gold mine. And smart man, first solar powered gas station in the country. Matter of fact. So when he tells me something business wise, I listen to him and his wife, who's my cousin. But I often said, he told me, says the gas company decides what gas costs, and they have some kind of computers that figure this stuff out. Rich people pay more, poor people pay less. Dallas Giants. Whew. Where's the game at, Antoinette? I'll say Dallas either way, but I think the Giants everybody wins once in a while in the NFL. That's how the NFL is set up. That's what makes it great. And you can watch. It's, if things happen. I would say probably Dallas. Ooh, you slipped past 9:00. Oh, it's in New York. I'll still take Dallas. Why isn't Richie Pettibone in the Hall of Fame, Mojo? I don't know too many assistant head coaches that are in the Hall of Fame. And yeah, he was head coach for a year, and that was 4-12, I think. So that doesn't get you in the Hall of Fame either. But a great defensive coordinator, no doubt. Richie and Joe Gibbs would make halftime adjustments. I mean, I swear they could have walked to the other side of the locker room, the opposing team, and said, I'm going to coach you the second half, and we're going to beat my old team. He was that good. They both were. And Ben was a fun guy. Didn't want to coach the last year. But Joe Gibbs quit in March to protect his staff that had been with him 11 years. By then, there's nobody you can get. So, he told Cook, give it to Richie, keep the staff together. So that's what they did. And it sucked. And Richie did 1 year. And then everybody got like an extra year of salary. I know Richie did. The deal was don't come back and coach anywhere else. I'll give you another year. And Richie was ready to retire anyway. So we never saw him again. It's been a few years since I've seen Richie at Park. Last time I saw him, he was right. He's a good guy. And Richie, kind of funny, Richie would go Tuesday nights when he was off. He would go to nearby Charlestown racetrack. And he would pull money from people at Redskin Park to say, hey, we'll build a fund. It might only have been $50 or something. Who knows? But I'll build a fund and we'll pull our money. And however I come out at the end of the day, I'll break it up into shares for you. And he usually came back Wednesday morning and was giving, secretaries and other people a few bucks, that profit. It was kind of a fun thing on there. And that's it. All right. So there you go. I went over time on that. Appreciate everybody coming tonight. You can always watch my 2-minute videos at 6 a.m. in the morning and around dinner time at night. I kind of flex with the news. The only news today, I didn't even think about it. Eckler was sent back to Washington because of a concussion in the game. I can't see him playing in Arizona this week. That's too bad because he's really had a great start for them. That was the only news out of today. But anyway, if you're late to the show, you want to see the earlier parts, go ahead and YouTube will recycle the show in a few minutes. More people watch on replay than in there. And that's it. As they say in Hickory, adios to you. on there. I'll be back next Monday night because we're back. That's the only Monday night game of the year. So be back next Monday night. But, every day, check in the channel. You'll see what's going on. Anyway, thank you, everybody, so much for coming. I do appreciate it. I'm Rick Snider for Rick Snider's Washington. Thanks for coming. I'll see you all soon.